Liberal Dan Radio presents
Fat Man Rants!
Last year, COVID wasn't as much of a threat for young kids, but we were offered a distance learning option. Now that the Delta variant is harming more kids, the schools have taken that option off the table. Recently, the Orleans Parish School Board posted this image and gave this commentary. New Orleans Public Schools has a history of navigating through illness outbreaks in the community. In the late 1800s, yellow fever ravaged the city. Even while trying to care for the sick and grieve for those who passed away, teachers continued to report to class. The effects of yellow fever in schools are even reflected in Superintendent William O. Rogers' annual report reading, "We have lost some valuable teachers during the recent epidemic." He recounted the deaths of more than 200 students and noted more than 6,000 children suffered from the fever. Still, the schools were able to bounce back and recover after experiencing such a toll on the community. Now, what message is that supposed to send to parents? I want to ask Governor Edwards, Mayor Cantrell, the Orleans City Council, the Orleans Parish School Board, the superintendents of schools, and all the boards of the charter schools in New Orleans. How many deaths are going to be okay during the next year to justify reopening schools without a virtual option? Will 200 students dying this time be acceptable as long as we bounce back? Would more be okay if you adjust for the total of students currently in New Orleans versus the 1800s? Appeal to tradition is a logical fallacy. Because they decided to risk the lives of students and teachers in the 1800s, it's not a justification to do it now. Look, I trust the science. I believe the CDC when it says that if children mask properly and consistently, that they will be safe. I don't trust that other kids will comply. I believe that the kids that are most likely to not comply are those of parents who reject vaccines and masking at home, which means that those unvaccinated parents create more vectors of transmission for the virus to spread through the schools, and it only takes one to spread it to the others. I don't believe that the faculty will be empowered to enforce the rules properly either. I know that they won't at my school because at the school that my child is enrolled in, I saw it firsthand last year. When my son was picked up after going into standardized testing, children were sitting elbow to elbow. Some not masked properly, some not masked at all. Meanwhile, the faculty was standing around doing nothing. Some schools have already started, and in pictures that I've seen, there's no distancing taking place in those pictures either. And in the school that my children are enrolled in, we were told that non-essential visitors will be prohibited from entry, and as such, there is no current way for parents to be sure that masking is being handled properly on school grounds. I live in Louisiana. Just 12% of kids between 12 and 17 are fully vaccinated. Children under 12 can't be vaccinated. Since last Friday, we have 11,000 new COVID cases in Louisiana, and over 2,000 of those are children. And here in New Orleans, we moved to a 100% charter school model. This means that we don't have school choice. We have a lottery. And if we opt our children out to homeschool because we are concerned for their safety, our kids lose their spots and will have to re-enter that lottery yet again. We are more than willing to homeschool if we have to protect our children, but we shouldn't have to. The CDC guidelines are clear. Returning safely, especially among children who can't be vaccinated, requires consistent and proper masking. If a school can't enforce consistent and proper masking, there can't be a safe return. It's time to stop stubbornly holding on to this idea that we must return to school now. We must protect our children. We need to put the brakes on and change tracks before the Delta variant floods the schools and swamps our already overburdened hospitals. All schools, at the very least, should be required to offer distance learning options to any parent concerned with the threat of the Delta variant, especially for children who can't yet be vaccinated. It's irresponsible to continue on the path that we're on. I am imploring our leaders to take a breath, stop being stubborn, make the tough decisions, do the right thing, and protect our children now.